welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. I'm Yetta Dekker.
I'm Ken Dekker.
And together,
we're part of the Dekker Team.
There you go. And our other team members are, of course, our son, Ryan Dekker, and our daughter, Candace Dekker. And then we have an amazing expertise team of specialists to do all the background work. Photography and staging and all those things that need to happen. A promise keeper, a client care coordinator, so that you can get awesome care. Actually, so you can experience the Dekker Team experience, as we've started calling it.
That's what it's all about.
It is. That's what it's all about. I guess we've been calling it that for years. Is that more and more we're defining exactly what does that look like? How is that distinguished? It's not the hokey pokey.
No, because that's what they say. That's what it's all about. But it's not. It's about the Dekker Team experience.
Right. And the Dekker Team experience is how do we deliver that proven performance that moves you fast? Mm-hmm. Right? And if you want to move slowly, we'll help you move a little bit slower. But really, when you're looking at selling a home, days on market, the shorter the better.
Yeah, I think most people want things to go slow until they make the decision to sell, and then they want things to go fast. And likewise, when they're buying, they want the process to go slow until they find the house, until you find the house that you really, really like. And then you want the process to go really fast because you want to buy that house before someone else buys it from underneath you. Right.
So therefore, there is an ability on the Dekker Team. Part of the Dekker Team experience is to know when to prove our proven performance that moves you fast and when to go a little bit slower to give you peace of mind and comfort and ease and support and encouragement along the journey. Mm-hmm. Right? And to celebrate with you because there's so many awesome opportunities through the journey to celebrate. Mm-hmm. Right. So
we've got some questions today.
Yeah, some great questions. You guys are awesome at that. We love that. So thank you for your questions. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for just participating with us and joining us. It's we wouldn't otherwise, because talking to ourselves, if you weren't watching, would be really kind of not much fun. That'd be really awful.
I thought you talked to me all the time, and no one's watching.
Thanks.
So, one thing, just an aside before we get into the questions, what I've been noticing lately is with so many homes for sale, even when we get an offer on a property, we get it negotiated, we get it put together, more and more they're a little trickier to stay together.
Right. The stickiness isn't what it used to be.
Yeah, because buyers will run away for a little problem that before, when there's not many houses for sale, if the house has a little problem, they're going to go, okay, I can deal with that, or maybe the seller will fix it, or we'll share the cost, or whatever. But more and more now, buyers are just going, no, I'm going to go find another one because there's so many to pick from. Right. So it's very, very important. We haven't really touched this on before, but looking at your house and, if there's any delayed maintenance.
We've touched on this. Yeah. We're going to touch on it again because I guess we can't touch on it enough.
It's just coming up more and more now. Because when the inspector comes through and he gives an arms list or laundry list of deficiencies or things that could be improved in the house, many times the buyers are asking for that to be done. Right. And so if we handle those things in the first place, because what happens is buyers will reduce the price when they're trying to negotiate, and then they're going to ask for more off when they find things wrong. Whereas we're going to nail the price and then not give them anything else off because there is nothing wrong with
which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So that's where we need you to help us, because helping us is helping you, because we do become a team, call ourselves the Dekker Team, and really you're part of that team with us when we decide to go and do a partnership with you to help you buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, which I guess is buying a home too. At that point, we want to work with you in the best way possible to give you the best return, and that even means not having to renegotiate. That means that there is stickiness. We make sure we create a contract that allows for it to stay together. Right? So that's a great point. And so the more of that delayed maintenance, and so we don't want delayed maintenance, do your maintenance on an ongoing basis. That's probably the biggest challenge out there around home ownership. After paying the bills and staying on top of it, it's recognizing what little things, and we've done some great shows on exactly what to do from an ongoing annual maintenance perspective. So go back and watch one of those, and you'll get some wonderful tips on just making sure those little things are out of the way. Because a home that looks maintained and is maintained will actually sell for more money than one that isn't.
Absolutely.
And the transaction's more likely to stay together. And you're less likely to have to renegotiate for anything. So all the way around, it's a win-win.
And you got a more enjoyable home while you're living in it.
Right. So there's another win. Right. That's why you keep ours maintained pretty well?
I hope it is.
It is. It is. No hoping about it. So that's just a great little tip to go back and just make sure it's all done. A couple of great shows there for that. So now the other questions we have is around, when is it the best time to sell? And we get asked that so often.
Yeah, now this person's asking about timing the spring market.
Right.
Because typically in Ottawa, we do have a spring market. It's kind of seasonal. And prices, not always, but tend to go slightly up in the spring market. And they also, there's a more demand because people want to close in June, July, August, even May. Because most people don't want to move when there's a ton of snow and it's minus 20.
Homes do close 12 months of the year.
Oh, they do.
Homes do sell 12 months of the year. You hear me say that. I bet anybody could record that, and I'd probably say it the same way on 100 shows. But anyway, homes do sell 12 months of the year, and yet you're right, Ken. There is a bit more.
Hold on a second. Did you say I'm right? Excellent.
Why did I say that?
And we got it down on tape. Awesome.
I think you've only had that 2 other times. That is not something you're going to hear commonly.
Okay.
However, let's say it a second time on this show. You're right, Ken.
Thank you.
Around timing the spring market.
Yes. And so the spring market is interesting because a lot of people think spring market starts in April, May when the snow's melted and the flowers start to come up
and the trees are budded.
And that's what we call,
mind you, that is pretty.
That's what we call spring.
Right.
Right? But the real estate spring market actually starts in February.
Right.
Because with the typical 60 days of marketing time to get an offer on a property, and
once it's priced right.
When it's priced right, yeah. And then another 60 days or so to close it. That's 4 months. So from February, we got March, April, May, June. We're now closing in June, which is an ideal month to close in. Right?
Or July.
So February is the start of the spring market.
Yeah, it is.
Really
and the
is.
prices really start to ramp up again after the deep freeze of the winter. And when we're talking a decrease in price, we're talking minimal.
Not a lot.
We're like, there is a little bit of a cyclical pattern that happens generally happens annually, and yet it is minimal. So the good news for sellers is there's a lot less competition this time of year. So that's kind of nice. Every buyer that's out there is a real buyer. And what I mean by a real buyer is in the spring market, spring fever does hit. And so some buyers really aren't going to buy. They're just going to look, where you see a lot less of that in the winter.
Right. Right.
So how do you time the spring market, Ken?
Put your home up for sale now.
Okay.
Don't miss it.
Okay.
Many people will put it on in March, April, and some of them have missed quite a number of buyers. So just know that the real estate spring market is much earlier than the temperature spring market.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Now, why, and this is a question that we get often, I got it last night and I got it yesterday, so twice yesterday.
There you go.
Why list with the Dekker Team? Why have the Dekker Team sell my home and not someone else?
It's a great question. Because everybody's got nice little signs they plunk down on the lawn, right? It's not about the sign.
Well, we did upgrade our signs. They cost us a lot more money.
Yeah, they look nice.
Okay. It's still not about the sign, you're telling me.
But a sign is a sign.
Okay.
As long as you can read it.
Then can we go back to the other ones?
No.
Okay. All right.
So what's interesting is people will say, well, why should I choose the Dekker Team to have their sign on my lawn as opposed to some other real estate person?
I can tell you a couple of reasons.
Okay, go ahead.
It's likely going to have a sold sign on it.
Well, that's true. You don't want my for sale sign, you want my sold sign on
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
and it's likely going to happen a whole lot sooner.
It just might.
And you're also going to get more money on average.
You might, and we'll talk about stats.
You might?
Yeah, well,
probably.
Typically, we'll talk about the stats for the last 12 months. Yeah, they prove it.
Year over year, we could prove the same stats.
Yes, we could. So that's pretty typical.
Yeah.
So, what other reasons?
Well, those are
because other than having more money in their pocket.
Oh, yeah. Faster.
Yeah. Other than that.
better experience.
Yeah.
Less challenges.
Yes.
More stickiness when the offer comes together.
Yeah, I think it comes down
more strategy.
to 25 years of experience that you have and 20 years that I have.
I'm at 26 almost
26, you're getting old.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, actually you're older than I am, and we all know that, don't we? People have asked me, is he my father?
Oh, they have not.
That's actually not true. An agent did ask him if I was his mother.
Yes, they
not
did
that
once.
many years ago, so I was really hoping
I was
someone would
rather
ask me.
insulted, though.
Well, I was more insulted.
So
anyways,
back onto the topic. Because the Dekker Team's going to keep you safe.
Right.
We have many, many years of experience. We understand the market. We understand what the market's doing. We understand what we can get for the best value for your home. And we don't want to give you pie-in-the-sky ideas of what your house is worth when nobody could get that.
Right.
And then that's just going to be a lesson in futility, because you're going to go on the market, you're going to clean your house, you're going to have showings, and your house is going to end up selling someone else's house.
Well, and what happens
if it's
is,
overpriced.
If a home really is overpriced, then actually at the end of the day, you're probably going to sell it for less.
If you sell it at all.
If you sell it at all. Mm-hmm. Than if you just sold it at the right price at the right time. And we can, I'm going to say guarantee, essentially we can guarantee that you're not going to undersell your home because of the strategies that we use to ensure we're making sure there's no other buyers out there that might want your home. So even if it's priced slightly below market, which we don't necessarily encourage, however, even if it were, as long as the right strategies are employed and there's enough time allowed, we won't sell it under market.
No.
It's
and you know
about
what?
the selling price.
We've been talking about the price a lot, and price is important.
Yeah, it's just one piece.
And, you know, I heard a funny story the other day, and it was a person that wanted, let's say the house was worth $400, and they wanted to put it on for sale for $425. And they said, and I said, well, it's not worth $425. Look at the other relative sales in the neighborhood that are somewhat similar to your house, because there's no identical houses.
No, it's relevant properties is the language we're using today.
Yeah.
Relevant rather than comparable. Because what's comparable?
Yeah. At any rate, it really showed $400,000 price. And what I said to him is, even if I did an open house 7 days a week, hired dancing bears to dance on the lawn and attract people, paid for the gazillion dollars in advertising and got 100,000 people out to see it, all I'm going to do is have them all come out and see that there's a better house around the corner for less money, and they're going to buy that one.
Right.
So all I'm going to get is more rejections by advertising more. So it's really a partnership. We want to get the exact right price that's the market will bear, and then put it out to as many people as possible so that we have a higher chance of finding a more motivated buyer to pay the right price for
right.
the property.
And when we say more people, as many people as possible, we're talking as many of the right people as possible. Mm-hmm. And that would include the realtor base that we're marketing to, as well as the buyer base that we're marketing to. Because if we can attract a realtor to the property, as well as a buyer that's working with that realtor, now we've got a better chance that they're going to look at the property and in fact buy the property.
Right.
If we can get them both believing that this is a great solution, right? So our marketing efforts really go out to both of those directions and targeted buyers. So if we have a home that we're going to misrepresent or even make it sound something different than it is, we're better to narrow the focus a little bit, because 4-bedroom, 3-bath, double-car garage describes 20% or 30% of the homes in Ottawa. So we want to feature those things that are different about the house rather than those things that are the same about a house.
Yes.
Maybe the pathway it backs onto, or the water access, or
and
that kind of thing.
And even if your home has a negative feature,
right,
we will probably want to post that it has,
in a positive way.
So if you've got a really small backyard, for instance, then we're rather than attract all the people that want a big backyard by not talking about the backyard, we're going to say that we've got a smaller backyard that doesn't require a lot of maintenance. You can cut it with a pair of scissors or whatever.
Have some fun with it.
Have some fun. And we're going to attract a buyer that's looking for that small yard that doesn't need a lot of maintenance, or it doesn't have any grass because it's all done in landscaping of interlock and whatever. And so we want to attract the right person for the right house. Maybe you have a few less showings, but we're going to get a buyer who wants.
Well, you're going to get the right showings.
Yes.
Because it's not about showings, it's about the right people coming to see your house. So if you're just joining us on the inside track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team, we are talking about questions that people have asked us. Talked about the spring market in the front half and why the Dekker Team and why the Dekker Team experience. So you may want to go back and listen to that. And if you want to experience firsthand, you want to give us a call at 613-860-4663-860-HOME and book an in-home or an in-office consultation. We do both, and we'll help you through. Plus, we have all these awesome workshops that we offer pretty much every Thursday of the month, which will also give you all kinds of insights into real estate and finances.
So let's let the stats do the talking for a moment, because we were talking
real
about
stats?
the real stats. Why?
The real estate stats?
Yes, the real.
Come on,
real
that
estate
was good.
Stats. That's very good.
Okay.
So in the last 12 months, the Dekker Team has sold just shy of 50 listings. We've sold over 100 homes for buyers and sellers.
113, I think.
But just about 50 homes that we had listed. The average list price was $376,582.
Right.
The average sale price was $376,359. That's 99.95% of asking price. So the Dekker Team's doing a phenomenal job of negotiating and getting the price for our sellers. And so a lot of sellers will say to me, well, we want to list, we want to put $20,000 negotiating room in. And say, we don't need negotiating room. We need to get a buyer interested in your property. Let our negotiating skills get us close to asking or at asking.
Or over asking.
Or over asking.
Because we've been doing that too, obviously, if we're at 99.95.
Yes.
And we're selling about 85% of the homes that we're bringing onto the market, which versus the industry average is under 50.
Right. So now the MLS in comparison, the average was 358,036. 347,096 was the average sale price to the asking. That's 97%. Not horrible, but the average. Now that's the average, which means some realtors are doing better, like the Dekker Team, and other realtors are doing poorer.
And when we're working with the buyers, which we'll get to in a minute, we're doing better than the average.
Yeah,
on the other side.
Yeah, well, on the other side, we're average actually.
Well, with the overall picture, which makes us better than average.
Yeah, 2.9%.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is a number of those we were selling of our own property.
Right. Oh, so that makes it difficult.
Yeah. So 2.9% off when using the Dekker Team on the buying side.
Right.
So another question is, some agents will sell at a reduced commission or a lower commission rate.
Or a fee for service or a professional fee. They'll reduce those fees.
Yeah, we call it a fee for service.
Yeah, or a professional fee.
Yeah. And so many people think that's going to save them money, because if I don't pay the real estate company as much, then obviously I make more money, right?
No. It doesn't actually work that way necessarily.
Okay.
The stats just proved it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You're dying to do this.
So if we get 2.95% more than the average, that's the average realtor, then if, let's say, our fee is 1% or so more than a lower fee, if we're getting 2.95% more, that means really we're getting 1.95 if it's a 1% differential. So the seller actually gets 2% more. So let's look at a $400,000 house, for
which is pretty much our average, right?
Yeah.
Just shy
round
of
numbers,
that.
it's easy. So if we're getting 97% of asking on the MLS, that means $388,000 is what that $400,000 listing is receiving on average. $388,000. That's a $12,000 reduction. The Dekker Team on that same $400,000 house at 99.95 comes out at $399,800, which is a $200 reduction in price. So even if the 1% if it was 1% less, it may not be, but I'm just saying if it was 1%.
Yeah, even if it's 2%, we're still ahead of the game.
Yeah,
regardless.
Even if it's 2, it would be $8,000.
Right, but let's do 1 for now.
1% would be $4,000. So you're going to save $8,000 because you didn't have to reduce the $12,000, and then we do have to reduce the $200.
Right.
So you're going to save $7,800 by paying a higher fee for a more experienced negotiator.
Right, because it really is, on average, because it really is about the negotiation process and our ability to protect your income just like we're protecting our own, really.
So it might be a good question if you're interviewing a real estate agent is ask them, what's your average list to sell price?
Right.
So you can get a sense of how strong a negotiator they are and whether they know how to price a home at market value.
Right, because it's a couple of things there, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, if a home isn't selling, it just keeps being reduced anyway. So
which is a scary thing.
That's a very scary thing. You don't
because when you reduce, it's not a little bit.
No, not in this market.
To get more action, it's not 1% reduction typically.
No, you've got to get into the next price bracket to make it available to a new group of buyers. Because if these buyers have already disqualified it, changing it by $10,000, it's not going to change anything.
Not much.
No.
So why is it a good idea to have an exclusive buyer representation?
Why is it, Ken?
Well, and the sub part of the question was, what does it cost? Okay, so the advantage of buyer representation to you, the buyer, is that now you have somebody in your court. You have an advocate who's fighting on your behalf to get the best conditions in the offer, best price, find you the best house for the value that they can find in this market. And so that's beautiful, especially when you consider it doesn't cost you anything, because the seller pays a fee to their listing brokerage, which part of that fee goes to pay the buyer's the buyer's agent side. Right. So there's no cost to a buyer for full representation. The other thing they're going to get is confidentiality, so they can actually speak freely with their agent.
And strategize. I mean, there is so much behind the scenes that needs to be done to make sure not only you're choosing the right property, but you're getting the right terms, you're getting the right conditions, you're getting the right price, the right closing date. There's all kinds of things you want to discuss that if undiscussed, you may buy an inferior product, an inferior home for you, or just an inferior negotiation. Right? So you want to be able to collaborate with and partner with your agent if you want to win.
Now, some people who are listening might be saying, I'm not selling right now.
Right.
And I'm not buying right now.
Right.
So what's in it for me to talk about the Dekker Team?
Right. I have a few ideas.
Yeah? Okay.
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
You're thinking that, I think you are, Ken. You'll have to tell me if I'm right, though.
Well, you usually are.
Okay, good. So the opportunity that we have for everybody, whether you are currently a client of ours, whether you've been a client of ours, which once you have been, you're actually perceived to always be. That's from our picture, unless you choose otherwise. Or you simply want to introduce us to somebody, a qualified introduction, a qualified referral. We are having a draw for a trip for two, for an all-expense-paid trip to Cancun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like Cancun.
I do too.
Very nice. Yeah, so they just have to send someone to us?
Yeah.
And that someone needs to buy or sell a house through the Dekker Team?
Right.
And they get entered in the draw?
Right.
For all expense paid?
Yes.
Trip for two?
Yes.
All-inclusive resort?
Yes.
Airfare?
Airfare.
Beautiful.
And we're drawing soon. So if you'd like to participate in the current one, and we're not promising that we're ever going to do it again.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. Because we do this in conjunction with More Than Enough. And we have decided that we will do it this time, and then we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
And then we may well do it again.
Good. So another question. Can I
More questions?
Yeah, can I just try it at a higher list price? Because I'm not in a hurry.
Right. Well, the answer to that hasn't changed in the last couple of years. I've been answering that question. Hasn't changed in the last 25 years. Is that if you try it at a higher price and the market simply isn't there, then you're going to harm yourself in terms of you're going to get less money for your house.
Eventually, the market will catch up. If it's going up 5 or 10% a year, and you're 10% over in a year or two, you might sell.
Yeah, right? And that's probably not good for your property because now it hasn't got the perceived value that it would have had when it was a more exciting property from a market perspective.
Right.
So we're thrilled that you guys joined us on the Real Estate Show, the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. And Ken has a property that we think is exceptional value that we want to chat about. And then we want to invite you to call us with your questions or email us as well.
This home is an inside townhouse. So in other words, there's a wall on each side. So you have 2 exterior walls and an exterior roof, so that you don't lose a lot of heat in the winter, and you don't cook in the summer. So your utility costs are lower. Ideal for a couple starting out, maybe young children or hoping for young children, or someone that's saying it's time to get out of the big home and go into something a little more easy. The beauty with this one is it's on a cul-de-sac. Right?
Who doesn't like a cul-de-sac?
Yeah. And to find a townhome on a cul-de-sac is very, very rare.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Almost unheard of, actually.
Yeah. So you're close to a park. You've got a cul-de-sac. The kids can ride their bikes and whatever. The only people that come down that road are the ones that live on it.
Or they're visiting.
Or the visitors.
And when we visit, we come down the street.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's not a through road. It's not even a crescent where people will circle around. You're going there if you're going there, right?
Right.
And so it's at the end of at the edge of the cul-de-sac. Beautiful property, hardwood floors. It's one of those townhomes that has the staircase going into the basement at the back, so it opens up to windows, so you get more light.
They're so nice and bright.
Really nice.
Right.
So you get more light. This place is really in pretty great shape. Very nice home. A finished basement. Lovely renovated ensuite bathroom, and really you could move in.
And it's well priced.
Yeah, $300.
$300, and it's in Barrhaven?
On a cul-de-sac. Did I say that?
Yes, I think you did.
Okay.
So if you're interested in that property or any property, whether it's something we specifically have listed or something that is for sale with another company, we would love to help you in any event, or at least have a phone conversation and then potentially a face-to-face consultation to decide if we're a fit for each other. If we're a fit for each other, then we want to be in your court. If you want us in your court, we believe it's a good fit, then we would love to do that. So you can reach us at 613-860-4663 or 860-HOME.
HOME.
HOME.
That's awesome.
So thanks for joining us on the Real Estate Show, the Inside Track on Real Estate. We would love to hear from you. Have you even join us on the show if you think you would like to be our guest.
And bring value to our
Well, you have to bring value to our listeners and our viewers.
Or you're not getting on the air.
True. Sometimes that's why you don't get to record a show.
Oh, is that right? Thank you. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.